So hi guys, today I'll be teaching you how to make a land use and land cover map using the ESRI Land Cover Explorer. So without further ado, let us start. So first things first, open your browser and search ESRI Land Cover Map. After searching that, you'll be presented with a list of links. Now you need to click on the first link and you just need to scroll down and click on Launch the Land Cover Explorer application. After clicking that, you will be redirected again to another tab, in which case have the tools necessary to download the GeoTIFF. Now, once you're here, you need to identify your area of interest. Now, in my case, my area of interest is actually Valencia Bukidnon. So I'll just search it using this search bar, Valencia Bukidnon. After entering, you will then be automatically redirected to your area of interest. And in here, I'll just zoom out to kind of see the perimeter of Valencia City and then click download GeoTIFF. Now, in which case I need to download the tiles corresponding to my area of interest. Now I am quite unfortunate to have two tiles. My area is between those two tiles, so I need to download those two tiles. So I just click this one, and then you are presented with a list of years, in which case I'll just download the most recent year, which is 2023. Okay, after downloading those files, you just need to open your QGIS platform and then paste those files. Okay, so I'll just open my file tab and search for TIFF files, in which case I have those files already prepared, and I'll just drag them along on my layer tab. After dragging it along, you are then presented with this. Now the canvas is quite bland, so I might add some map as background of it. So I'll just use my quick map services and then use the OSM standard. So if you don't have the OSM standard, I recommend you downloading it in the plugins and then click manage and install plugins and search for OSM. There you have the quick map services. Okay, so after doing those things, no, you need to warp this, your TIFF files and your map to the appropriate projection of it. So in this case, since these two files are raster files, I'll just click on the raster toolbar and warp them. But that will be quite a task since these are two TIFF files. So I'll just merge them along. So I'll just click on raster files and then miscellaneous and then merge. But I don't want a new file, rather I want a collection of those two files. So instead of merging them together, I'll just use the build virtual raster. So I'll just click this and then you are presented with this window, in which case you need to input your layers. I'll just input these two along and then run. After running it, you are then presented with a new layer, which is called the virtual, which is the collection of those two files. Okay, so I now have this. So I'll just delete this along since I don't need them. Okay, since I have already this one, now the next step is warping them. So to warp the GeoTIFF files, you just need to go to raster toolbar and use the projections and then warp. And then of course you're presented with your input layer, in which case it is already automatically put our virtual raster here, and we just need our source CRS and our target CRS. Now, since we don't know our source CRS, I'll just exit and double click on our virtual and use the information tab to see its CRS, in which case our CRS, or our coordinate reference system, is right here. It is the 3265 EPSG and the WGS 84 slash UTM zone 51N. So I'll just exit this and then use that as our source CRS. So I'll just use our raster, projections, and then warp. And in this case, our CRS is this one right here. And our target CRS is, since our target is Valencia Bukidnon, and that is Mindanao, our target area is actually the PRS 92 slash Philippine Zone 5. And then we just run this along. After running it, you just need to wait. So after waiting, you are then presented with a new layer called reprojected. Now I'll just close this. And after reprojected this, we need to then warp our OSM standard to our target CRS, in which case I have here, you just need to go to the bottom left right corner and then click that, and you're then presented with this window right here, in which case I'll just click on the filter and search tab and search PRS 92, and then click on this transverse marker and then PRS Philippines Zone 5. This red area here is actually its area or its scope, and as you can see, its scope is including Mindanao, and that's what we want. So I'll just click apply and OK. So right here, we don't need our virtual layer. I'll just delete that. Okay, so these two layers right here are actually warped to its true, or let's say right, coordinate system. So after warping your raster files, you then need to get the boundary of your area of interests, in which case I have a plugin called the Quick OSM. Now I recommend you downloading this also by using the plugins toolbar and then clicking manage and install plugins and searching Quick OSM. Now, since I have already downloaded the Quick OSM app, I'll just click on it. And after clicking it, you are then presented with this new window. After that, you need to plug in your key and value. And since I need the boundary of my area of interest, I'll just type boundary here. And then you actually don't need to get the value, but I'd say this is administrative, and say this is actually in, and then Bukidnon, Valencia. Now I'll just click on run, and after waiting, as you can see, it says successful query. 3 layers are actually added, in which case we have this polygon, this line, and then point. Now I don't actually need the point, and then the polygon. So I'll just use the line right here, and I'll just change its symbology, make this color black, and then making it bigger right here so it is quite visible. Now, after getting your area of interest boundary, you then need to go to your raster and then extraction. And then you have here clip raster by extent and clip raster by mask layer. Now I'll just click on mask layer. So we need our input layer, which is actually the reprojected uh, raster file, and then our mask layer is our boundary. So right here, I'll just click on run again and wait for it. So after running it, you are then presented with a new layer called clip. Now I just need to delete this reprojected since we don't need this anymore. I'll just remove the layer. After removing that, we are presented with this. So as you can see, and if I go to its information by double clicking it, information, and look at its CRS, as you can see, it is still the target CRS. I'll just cancel that. Okay, so after doing that, you then need to assign each color a unique value. So the question is, what color is what? So to figure that out, you need to go to the ESRI Land Explorer again. So after going back, we have here on the lower right corner, we have the color being the land cover total. So I'll just expand this. As you can see, this is the presented color and its value and as its unique element. So we actually can see it here in the cover classes. We have blue as water, yellow as crops, green as trees, red as built area, light green as flooded vegetation, and so on. So if I go back to my QGIS platform and go and double click this, you actually don't need your transparent color. So I'll just delete it and go to the 12, since as you can see, this is actually duplicated from 12 to 255. So I'll just delete them. So after deleting those unnecessary colors, you need to click classify so that it will automatically detect the colors that is being presented in your raster files. So I'll just click classify, and these are the colors that are actually within my area of interest. So as you can see, each color has a label which is quite unique. Now, to assign a label, you just need to go to the ESRI Land Cover Explorer, and as you can see here and at the land use and land cover classes, we have blue as water, green as trees, red as built area, and so on. So I'll just use that to further elaborate this to change my label to its respected value. So blue as water, green as trees. Okay, so I have already assigned each one of the colors a unique value. So I'll just click on apply and OK. So after that, I'd say go to OSM standard and change its transparency so that our area of interest will pop out. Okay. Okay, so after doing that, you need to save each of the temporary files. So how do you know each one is a temporary file? So when you go to layer tab, there is actually this symbol right here. So in which case it will say temporary layer. So after clicking that, you are then presented with a window that will actually save that layer. So in which case, right here, this is actually our boundary, our point. So I'll just use the ESRI shape file. Our file name is point. Okay. As you can see, it has uh, saved that file. So I'll just use this to save all of the temporary files. So as you can see here, the clip mask cannot actually be saved. So I'll just export this as a layer definition file to downloads. I'll just say this is a reprojected. So after saving that, you then need to go and change its data source and go to that download file. I'd say document and reprojected raster. Say okay. So as you can see, the layer symbol is actually gone, and this means that this is actually now a non-temporary layer. Okay, so after doing all those, you need to go to your print tab. So to go to your print tab, you just need to click on project and new print layout. So click this, and you need to assign a title for this, in which case I'll just say LULC. And then you are then presented with this new window, in which case have all the necessary tools to make a map. So I'll just click on add rectangle to add a border. So I'll just add a border here, right here. And I'd say I need to add the map. So I'll just click on add item and add map. This will render the map, and as you can see here, I have the map in my print. So I'll just click on move item content and kind of wiggle it around, and I'll just click on this map 1, and as you can see, it has a scale. I think has a scale of 200,000, so I'll just enter that. Oops, I entered the wrong value. Oh, here we go. So it is 200,000, so I'll just move that item to the center. Okay, right here. So after doing that, I'll just need to add the item scale bar right here. As you can see, it's right here. And go to that scale bar and then go to its main properties. So I'll just style this with a double box, and then the segments being 4, which is like, no, I want 3, this one. Okay, so after that, let's say I want to change its font. So I'll just go to its display and change its color maybe to blue, and its line to blue also, and then its font will be times New Roman. And as you can see here, it has been perfectly edited. Now the next item to add is actually the north arrow. I'll just add the north arrow here and maybe change its style to this one. I like this one. So I'll just go to the SVG parameters, change its fill color to, let's say, light blue, and stroke color to blue. Okay, so I have added a arrow in the scale bar. So the next item to add is actually the legend. So I'll just click and drag. And as you can see here, the background is actually not transparent. So I'll just scroll down and uncheck this background. So after that, to edit our legend, you need to uncheck this auto update. So after doing that, you can now edit your legend. So I'd say I want to remove this boundary, this OSM standard. So I'll just delete those. But I don't need to delete this one since this is our actually our boundary for our area of interest. So I'll just rename this to boundary of Valencia. So after doing that, you need to actually delete this band 1 gray and change the name of your clit mask to LULC key. So let's change some things here on our legend to make it presentable. So I'd say go to spacing, go to subgroup headings, and then add some space. And also our legend items, add some space between them. Okay, so this is good. After doing the spacing, go to font. I'll just change our subgroup headings to Times New Roman, and then up the scale or the size, and then change this. No, I'll just click regular. Then item labels Times New Roman, right there. And our color, so we need to change our color. And also change this to center. No, I don't want this to center. This will be good. To left, yeah. So I'll just change this to blue. There we go. In our scale bar, I think I need this letter to be blue also. So I'll go display font. There we go. So the next thing to add is actually the title. So I'll just go and add a label here. Right here. Okay, so I'll just change it to Valencia, Bukidnon, land use, and land cover map. Okay, so after doing this, you can change its font. I want this to be Times New Roman also, with being with it being bold, and then the size should be bigger. 25 should be good. Then change its color. And then center this. Yeah, so I think this is good. Just need to move our north arrow right here and need to expand this right there. So I think this is actually good. I just need to make our line thicker so that it can be seen. So I'll just go back to my QGIS, in which case I have this one. Then double click on that, make this bigger. Okay, so with that, I think our line or our boundary is now visible enough. So I'll just go back to my print window. And as you can see, sure enough, it is very visible. So the next step is actually to go to layout and then export this file. So you can either export this as image or as SVG or as PDF. So those three things you can export as. So with that all said, I think that that would be all that I can teach you in regards to this method on integrating the ESRI Land Cover Explorer. So I hope you were entertained and also learned throughout the process of it. And thank you. Mabuhay.